Welcome back to the show. Check out these headlines here. XRP payments tap China. XRP Ledger becomes international payments layer, and US bank offers crypto custody services. They got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
All right, welcome back. Let me get this flipped on here. Yeah, there we go. All right, welcome back. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and digperspectives.com. I can't talk today. Oh my gosh, it's been a whirlwind last few days here. $3.92 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off 0.6% at the moment. Right now, Bitcoin 110,000 plus, 4,300 plus for Ethereum. XRP's 284, even though we're off a 0.5% on the 24 and off 5.4 on the 7-day. Here we see the range between 282 and 288. We're sitting just about smack dab in the middle here at 284. We'll keep an eye on it. But I do want to remind people right now to be extra careful because North Korea hackers are increasingly targeting the cryptocurrency industry with sophisticated scams posing as recruiters to steal digital assets. This tactic has become common, with experts and victims noting prevalence of such schemes. Now, I'm telling you, when this market gets ready to rock and roll, there's always a level of threat of scams in this space, but please be careful. I mean, this is why I tell you, there's a couple places that I trust where I put my assets, and iTrust is one of them. And you can now put your assets in the premium custody account and get free institutional grade custody, US award-winning US based support, low cost, no monthly fee. All you got to do is get over there and open your account. If you haven't done it yet and you're new, you can get a $100 funding bonus. I'm telling you, if you want peace of mind, this is where you're going to get it, because with this closed loop system, it allows you to go in with your cash and crypto, trade 24/7, all the assets on the platform. But when you come out, you have to come out as cash, and it can only go to your US checking account. This is done to protect people from that SIM card swapped, or the link that you shouldn't have clicked on, or giving critical information to someone that you shouldn't. So if a bad actor got into your account, the worst that they could do is send it to your US checking account. That's why it's called a closed loop system. And that's why I tell you, if you're looking for peace of mind, you want to go to iTrustCapital.com/XRP Army and start getting that peace of mind right away. Look right here, CFTC grants Polymarket approval to operate crypto prediction markets in the US. Oh boy, we're loving that. I like Polymarket. I think this is great. So congrats to them. I like seeing the odds. By the way, the odds are coming up on the Clarity Act passing. We're going to talk about that in just a few moments, but I want to remind everybody what we covered yesterday. By 2030, Ripple says that we'll see 10% of the global assets are expected to be tokenized. This is just by 2030. You know, and who knows, by 2035, we may see the other 90%, because I think it's going to really kind of be exponential curve the way that starts to happen. So that is a very, very large number. And you have to wonder how much Ripple will capture out of that 16 trillion when it comes to the real world asset tokenization. Meanwhile, I want to highlight and remind everybody about Ondo Finance has launched over 100 plus real world asset tokenized products and equities on their global markets platform. Shout out to Ondo Finance. This has been done on the Ethereum network so far, but we know real USD's on there. I bet it gets some action from it. We'll see how that goes. Weebus, this is big. Weebus and Air China partner to enable XRP payments. What are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about, shout out to Bank XRP, give them a follow. Weebus International signs strategic partnership with Air China, unlocking access to over 60 million members and introducing future XRP payment solution for 60 million plus Phoenix Miles members. And if you go down into the statement here, from Andrew Devilipus, that got this. This collaboration with Air China, with the potential reach of more than 60 million members, not only expands WeTour's global service footprint, but also accelerates our vision of building a Ripple integrated travel ecosystem. Hello, this is the CEO of Weebus. And then he says here, looking ahead, WeTour plans to provide the Air China's Phoenix Miles members with access to its overseas platform, with XRP payment support. This will enable travelers to benefit from faster settlement, tokenized rewards, and blockchain-enabled vouchers directly tied to their membership benefits. Subject to future business development and regulatory compliance, this marks a key step in connecting one of the world's largest airline loyalty bases with the next generation of Web3 travel solutions. I'm super excited about this because I'm leaning into this being, look, the XRP Ledger for me is a national and international payments platform. And I believe that it's quite likely we see the SEPA in Europe, the SIPs in the Asian region, and the RTGS, and all these different regional platforms around the globe be updated and be updated with something like the XRP ledger. And then you could have the public ledger sit with the DEX in between it all, making a market. So anyone can white label the XRP ledger and make it their own, right? So that I believe is like one of the gentlemen from Apex Crypto, I believe it is. Shout out to that guy who's pointed out they have different terminologies for saying XRP ledger in different situations. And I think that is absolutely the case that we'll find that out in the future. But this is huge to me because it is a global world and we need to have China interact with the rest of the world, whether people like it or not. And I just don't want it to be with the digital yuan. That's why I like XRP as a bridge. And here we see US banks resume Bitcoin's crypto custody services for institutional investment managers. So this is really great because we're seeing the lights come back on. You know, I'm somebody out here was saying U.S. banks wouldn't custody crypto. It's like, are you crazy? That is way off base. And then listen to this, because this is something right here you're going to want to know about. Congress is back in session, and Polymarket has it around 40% odds of passing the Clarity Act in 2025. But Ron Hammond says something different here. Let's take a listen.
Signed into law this year, hovering at around 40%. Would you give it that much right now, or would you go higher?
I still go a little higher. It seems that we have pretty good bipartisan buy-in right now. We have Lisa Blunt Rochester on the Democrat side, Kristen Gillibrand as well. We even seen Amy Klobuchar from the Senate Ag Committee saying that she wants to work with the Republicans on crafting their version of market structure.
Okay.
So the upside is that we do have the key players and key senior players in the Democrat Party open to this. So at least right now, on the political side, the right people are talking.
We got the wins in our sails. We just need to get it done. Now, there has been talk, just for to go over this, there has been talk that the Senate will make their own mirrored version of the Clarity Act that was passed at the House, and it may have changes or different things in it. And if that happens and it's that different of a bill, they're going to have to send it back to the House to get it voted on very quickly. But we should have the votes no matter what in each side of this equation. I say to all of this that, look, this has to pass because they passed and signed the Genius Act into law, and it's worthless without the market infrastructure bill. And all of this is about underpinning the US dollar dominance and becoming a leader in the new digital on-chain economy. And if we don't, then our life is probably going to turn into what would look like a Mad Max sequel movie, right? And I'm not really down for that at 54. I'm going to be honest. I'll tell you what else looks promising here is that infrastructure bill getting passed, because we know that we just saw the CFTC and the SEC release a joint statement allowing US exchanges that will be able to list crypto for trade. And those exchanges, the CME Group, the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, the CBOE, ICE Futures US, and foreign boards of trade. That's who. Yeah, the platforms that serve the rest of traditional finance are about to start offering crypto. And guess what they're going to need to do that? They're going to need the Clarity Act to be passed, the market infrastructure bill, because none of it's happening without that. But that tells me they know it's going to happen, because at the end of the day, why would they be telling you all of this? Why would the SEC and the CFTC grant them the ability to do this and then not get the market infrastructure bill? It doesn't add up at my house. So what I see here is a potential for more merger and acquisitions as well. The crypto exchanges like Coinbase and other crypto platforms just got decentralized. I believe this will set up a run on crypto exchanges for merger and acquisition deals, because the writing is on the wall. The big boys are here and they aren't leaving until they run it all. And remember, they're coming with a chip on their shoulder. They've been watching for more than a decade that they couldn't participate in any of this, and now they can. Now, this gentleman right here, I want you to listen to what he says. His name's Terry Saka. He knows what's coming. Take a listen.
Hopefully, for the meantime, we still have paper currency to use. We will be using, and they will implement the Ripple RLUSD. It is now an approved stablecoin. They will use the blockchain XRP. There's even chatter that XRP, as well as HBAR and maybe even XLM, could be part of strategic reserves.
Wow.
Where the United States will own blocks, maybe a billion or more chunks of those, knowing their vital nature to the infrastructure of the financial system as we go tokenization. Hopefully, for the meantime, we
Wait a
still
minute, let me
have.
get that stop. So he's got his thumb on it. He knows what's coming down the pipe here. But you know what? So does this guy. Remember when we played this clip a while back? Well, let me go ahead and get it right about here, where Mark Yusko has to say the truth. He has to acknowledge the truth, but even when they know the truth, they really don't like to acknowledge the truth. But here it is, and you could tell it concerns him.
I don't know if it'll happen the first 100 days, Abs, but there's some talk. This will make the XRP people really happy. There is some talk that XRP could be utilized and or ordered to be used for a central bank digital currency or as the base layer for national banking.
Yep, that part. As a base layer for national banking. And guess what? And I think that's going to happen in many different regions around the globe.
I don't know if it'll happen or not, but that's one that if that does happen, that changes things. It's kind of like.
Well, I'll tell you what we do know. It's kind of like not going to be Bitcoin, and it's kind of like not going to be Ethereum. That much we do know. So now all we need to find out is if it is going to be the XRP ledger. And you know what? I love how Mark Yusko he's turning us on to the idea as if we all didn't know. Thank you, Mark. Where would we be without your leadership? You know. Meanwhile, Crypto Wizard here says the XRP daily technical outlook. XRP closed indecisively. However, as soon as XRP BTC chart starts moving bullish, XRP will see an impulsive upside rally. Crypto Wizard says, I'll track this intraday chart to get a quick scalp. Moving and holding above 294 resistance is bullish territory. So we'd like to see XRP come up a little bit, right? Well, that's what we'd like to see. But you know what? I tell you, with all of this fundamental news, the legislation, right? The Ripple National Charter and the Fed Master Account, the ETFs we're waiting for approval on, all of this stuff is sitting right here. And with the announcement of the SEC and the CFTC granting approval for the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ to now offer crypto assets, are you kidding me? I don't know how I could be more bullish than where I am right now. It's not financial advice, but it is my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.